If you've ever sabotaged something good in your life, a relationship, an opportunity, a version of yourself you were trying to become, it probably wasn't because you were weak. It was because your system couldn't hold it yet. Now here's a truth most people never hear. Your life will always expand or shrink to the size of what you can hold. Not what you want, not what you visualize, not even what you deserve. It's what you can hold. Welcome back to The Walk. Today, we're talking about something that quietly determines almost everything in your life, and that is capacity. So what do you say about taking a walk with me? One of the reasons change feels so hard is that most people think within the context of one or a couple of these three concepts. They think they lack motivation, they think they lack discipline, or they think they lack clarity. Now, there can be truth to that, but in most cases, there's an underlying issue beneath all of it, and that issue is capacity. Your system has a limit to how much pressure, uncertainty, responsibility, emotion, and change it can tolerate before it tries to restore equilibrium. And when that limit is reached, it pulls you back to what feels familiar. Pause and really consider that. Someone has probably told you it's because you're weak. Perhaps you are thinking that you are lazy because that label had been imposed upon you and now you have accepted it. What I am proposing is your system isn't loyal to your dreams. It is loyal to stability. Later in this video, I'm going to give you a simple exercise you can use in real time when you feel yourself reaching your capacity to begin expanding that container instead of collapsing back into the familiar. Here's a good example as to why people sabotage good things. You've probably seen this play out before in your life or someone else's. I, for one, have fell into this loop many times, so I'll use myself as an example and see if you may relate to this yourself. I finally get the opportunity I wanted, the promotion, the relationship, the chance to build something meaningful, and somehow I derailed it. I procrastinate and say, no big deal, I'll get it done later. Then an overreaction, well, maybe you should have done it yourself then. Or I withdrew. I retreat within, where I think it's safe, build a cage, and the silence becomes suffocating. Or I create a conflict. Well, what about you? You're not perfect. Who the are you to tell me? From the outside, it looks like self-sabotage. But from the inside of the nervous system, it's protection. Because the life that just appeared requires a larger capacity than the one I currently had available. The strange part about capacity, and most people never notice this when it's happening, the opportunity appears, the relationship appears, the responsibility appears, and that's when the system panics. Not because the life is wrong for you, but because your system hasn't learned to hold it yet. I invite you to look at it this way. Think of your current capacity like a container. Right now, maybe it's a cup. And the life you say you want, that might require a bucket. So what happens when a bucket gets poured into a cup? It spills everywhere. Most people respond by trying to control the bucket. They try to control the opportunity. They try to control the outcome. They try to control other people. But growth doesn't come from controlling the bucket. Growth comes from becoming a larger container. Let that land. This is also another way manifestation can break down. Manifestation often gets misunderstood. People imagine the life they want, they visualize it, They believe in it. But when reality begins to move toward them, their system experiences overload. The visibility feels threatening. The responsibility feels heavy. The uncertainty feels overwhelming. And the system quietly begins restoring the old equilibrium. Not because the manifestation failed, but because the system couldn't sustain it. Manifestation isn't just about calling something in. It is also about becoming someone who can carry it. So what expands capacity then? How does capacity grow? It's not through forcing yourself. It's not through pretending you're fearless. Capacity grows through exposure with regulation. Small moments where your system experiences something difficult and learns it can survive it. Every time you do something uncomfortable and stay present, instead of collapsing, the container gets a little bigger. Every time you feel fear and don't immediately retreat, the container gets a little bigger. Every time you choose growth instead of familiarity, your system updates what it believes is survivable. And slowly, what once felt overwhelming becomes normal. This is also where identity starts to evolve. Remember in our previous walks that identity is not just a story. It's a memory of what you've been proven you can handle. When your capacity expands, your identity has new evidence. Evidence that you can handle pressure, handle uncertainty, handle responsibility, handle growth, and eventually something subtle but powerful happens. The life that once felt terrifying starts to feel safe. There's a hidden truth about big lives, and here's what I've noticed about the people who carry big lives well. They aren't necessarily the most talented. They aren't necessarily the most confident, but they've built enormous capacity. They can hold criticism without collapsing, pressure without panicking, responsibility without resentment, uncertainty without paralysis. That's why their lives expand, because their container can support it. Think about that for a second. So here's that exercise to practice when you feel yourself reaching capacity and to stretch that container a bit more. Remember the pause. If you don't, join my previous walk about it where this process began. This is where that fourth step comes in. Ask yourself, what is it that I need to say right now that I don't want to say? That question opens many possible paths. Intentional action is choosing that path with calculation, not reactionary. Maybe the right move is to step away and gather yourself, but do it intentionally, not as flight. Maybe the right move is to push back, but do it deliberately, not as fight. The goal isn't to eliminate emotion. It's to express it in a way that builds you instead of breaks you. I want you to consider something honestly. Not judgmentally, just honestly. What part of the life you say you want would overwhelm the version of you that exists today? Instead of trying to force that life into your current container, ask a better question. Who do I need to become to hold it? Because when capacity grows, reality eventually follows. If you enjoyed our walk together, leave a comment below. Like and subscribe if you want to keep walking with me. Coaching availability is in the link in the description. My name is Gio, and as always, thank you for the company.